Can a 38-year-old player, still able to change matches all by himself, really be considered a problem for his national team? That question exploded in the world of football when Mauricio Pochettino, now the coach of the United States, sent a direct message to Argentina. The Messi that we all expect to see in the next World Cup. The one who is now 38 years old but still makes a difference in every match of his league. Could it be that his best possible version is at risk, and that we might see a less competitive Messi on the world stage in 2026? Lionel Messi's real challenge on the road to the 2026 World Cup isn't his talent or his leadership, but the competitive context in which he arrives. And every time someone dares to analyze Messi, the entire planet pays attention. Ever since he landed in Inter Miami in July 2023, the debate has always been the same. Can he maintain his level playing in MLS? Critics kept saying it wasn't Europe, that it lacked intensity, that there was no relegation, that the pressure was something else. But Messi, as always, chose to answer where it matters: on the pitch. 2 titles, a Copa America 2024 final with a goal and an assist, and statistics that don't seem human. 77 goals and 41 assists in 86 matches. Can anyone seriously say he's not competing? Pochettino, without filters, went straight for the jugular. Soccer in the United States is entertainment, a show designed for the masses, closer to the NBA than the Premier League. According to him, the lack of drama in defeat, that sense of crisis that exists in Europe and South America, could cause Messi to arrive at the World Cup without the same survival rhythm as players like Mbappe, Bellingham, or Lamine Yamal. But that's where the big contradiction appears. Isn't Messi precisely the player who has proven more times than anyone in history that he can reinvent himself in any ecosystem? Because every time people doubted him, Messi responded with titles. When they said that without Xavi and Iniesta he wouldn't be the same, he won Champions League titles. When in Paris they accused him of being in decline, he ended up rising again, another Copa America. And when in Miami they assumed he was retired in an easy league, he once again became a cultural and football phenomenon. So, is the problem MLS? Or is the real problem that the world keeps trying to analyze Messi using rules that don't apply to Messi? Pochettino's reflection opens a fascinating debate. In a World Cup, what weighs more, the competitive rhythm beforehand, or a player's ability to elevate himself when global pressure crushes everything? Qatar 2022 already gave us the answer. Messi doesn't need to prove anything beforehand. He does it on the day that matters. And now, on the road to 2026, the question is no longer whether he can compete. The real question is whether he can once again lead Argentina to another historic final. The draw also left a tasty detail. Argentina will be a seeded team and won't face the United States in the group stage. If Messi and Pochettino cross paths, it will be later on. A scenario where defeat truly hurts and the drama is real. And then, who bets against the number 10? The football world is divided. That MLS slows him down, that MLS protects him, that MLS rejuvenates him. The only indisputable fact is this: Messi is still the only player on the planet capable of generating a global debate, even when the topic is whether he has a problem. Maybe, just maybe, the discussion reveals something deeper. Messi isn't arriving with a problem. He's arriving with an opportunity. The opportunity to show once again that his career defies every theory. But if there's one thing this discussion exposes, it's a truth that few dare to say out loud. The problem isn't Messi. The problem is how everyone else reacts when Messi is in a World Cup. And that, more than MLS's competitive rhythm or Europe's intensity, is what truly unsettles rival coaches, Pochettino included. Because everyone knows the story. Every time the Argentine national team enters a major tournament with Messi in the squad, rivals don't just prepare a match. They prepare an operation. An anti-Messi plan that's already doomed to fail. Iran tried it in 2014. Croatia tried it in 2018. Everyone tried in 2022. And now, in 2026, the United States with Pochettino in charge knows they'll have to face the same dilemma that torments Europe's giants. How do you stop someone who can change a match with a single 3-second play? Meanwhile, in Argentina, the debate is different. The question that has settled in isn't whether he'll arrive strong or not, but how to build a team that enhances his final masterpiece. Scaloni knows it. This World Cup could be the definitive closing of the most glorious era in Argentine football, or the most unexpected chapter of all. And that's why the coaching staff is obsessed with one single objective: surrounding him well, creating a context where he decides when to accelerate, when to rest, and when to appear. Because when Messi appears, he appears to decide matches. And that brings up another factor that few are mentioning: hunger. What makes a world champion, with 8 Ballon d'Or, 46 titles, and an unrepeatable career, still compete as if everything were starting from zero? What drives him to keep challenging his own legend? Some say it's ambition, others believe it's pure love for the ball. But maybe it's something simpler. Messi doesn't seek to compete against others. He competes against the only thing that has always fueled him: the joy of playing. In that sense, MLS is a setting that benefits him more than his critics admit. It allows him to breathe, to manage his craft, to choose his moments. Because ultimately, a World Cup isn't won in October or February. It's won in a month where the mind, serenity, and the ability to appear when everything is on fire are what matter. And in that, Messi has an advantage no other player on the planet can match. So the question becomes inevitable. If Messi arrives well-rested, surrounded by a brilliant new generation, with no external pressure, and with a team that understands him, does anyone really think his prior rhythm will be a problem? The truth is that no one knows for sure. But one thing is clear: every time the world underestimates Messi, he responds the way only geniuses can, by writing chapters no one saw coming. And if this is truly the final stretch of his World Cup career, we might be witnessing the most epic ending of all. A free, mature, lethal Messi. A Messi who has nothing left to prove, yet may still want to prove everything. The conclusion is clear and at the same time inevitable. Messi isn't a problem. He is the answer. What Pochettino proposes opens a legitimate debate about competitive rhythm, but it ends up crashing into a reality that has repeated itself for almost 2 decades. Messi always finds a way to turn doubt into glory. MLS may be seen as a less demanding stage, but also as the space that allows him to arrive fresher, more complete, and with less wear and tear to a World Cup that will be the longest and most demanding in history, with 48 teams and endless travel. The real key is that Messi no longer carries the responsibility of breaking lines or emotionally sustaining the national team all by himself. Today, he is surrounded by a generation that learned from him and is ready to support him, while he reinvents himself as a maestro, a conductor, and in that role, his experience weighs more than any league. That's why, when the world argues whether MLS limits or empowers him, the question that truly matters is another one. Are we ready to see Messi write the final chapter of his career in a World Cup that could be historic? Because if Qatar taught us anything, it's that when the moment of truth arrives, Messi doesn't compete against rivals. He competes against history. And he almost always ends up winning. What do you think? Is MLS the problem? Or is the real problem that we still don't understand that Messi plays by his own rules? Subscribe and leave your opinion, because this conversation is just getting started.